Ohai. Holar or Erbil, the capital of the southern Kurdistan, the city in the north of Iraq. Administrative center of the province Erbil. The city with the population about 1.5 million. 2013. The fourth largest city in Iraq after Baghdad, Basra and Mosul. In the downtown there is an ancient citadel Erbil. Harita were the first someone expanded the domination across all northern Mesopotamia. Since then the city was under the power of many regional powers, including Assyrians, Babylonians, Kurds, Yazidi, Armenians, Persians, Greeks, Arabs, the Seljuks and Ottoman Turks. In the Archaeological Museum of Erbil there is a big collection of Islamic artifacts, and it is the center of archaeological projects in this area. In July 2014 the Erbilski Citadel was included in the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage List. Erbil is the capital of the autonomous region of Kurdistan. It is also the capital of the province Erbil. The population inhabitants about 1.5 million. The city is located in 77 km to the east from Mosul on the plain, at the foot of the mountains adjoining him from the north and the west, in the middle between the rivers Big and Small Zab. Is at the height of 415 meters above sea level. Erbil is in the third time zone. Akkadians and Assyrians called it Arbo Ilu, that means, four gods. The city became the center of worship of the Assyro-Babylon goddess Ishtar. In antique times the city became known as Arbela. In ancient Persian the city was called Arbera. Today, the modern Kurdish name of the city Hular. Erbil is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the history. Reminds the hill of the citadel representing the remains before of the being settlements of the history of the city. The wall surrounding him is believed in the most ancient part goes back to pre-Islamic times. In the Assyrian times I was considered devoted to the goddess Ishtar. In the temple Ishtar was an oracle. Priestesses in an ecstasy state gave predictions. As well as in all temples of this goddess, priestess practiced temple prostitution. The first mention of Erbil appeared in references from Ebla archives. They tell about two travel to Erbil. Erbilim. The first about 2300 and later when Izargutuma occupied the city in 2200. Erbil was an integral part of Assyria since 1900 BB till 605 BB, and it remained a part of Assyria under the rule of Persians, Greeks, Parthians, Romans and Sassanid. The Persian Tsar Cyrus Veliki occupied Assyria in 547 and established it as the Achaemenidski satrapy with Erbil as the capital. At the time of the Persian dominion through the city known from the Greek sources as Arbela, the so-called Tuskaya road, connecting the center of the Persian power with the Aegean coast ran. Exactly here the Persian Tsar Darius III for repulse to Macedonians brought together the armies from the subject people. The city became famous thanks to a decisive victory which I won near Erbil. More precisely, under the town of Gavamli in 75 came to the northwest from Erbil. In 331 BB Alexander of Macedon over the Persian Tsar Darius III. After defeat Darius ran through this city, and battle antique historians call fight at Erbil, though now geographically more exact name, fight was established at Gavamelip. Erbil became a part of the disputed region between Rome and Persia.
In the 3rd 1 or 3 century BB of century, the capital of the small kingdom of Adiaban.
Differently Arbelitida. Subject Parthia, then I was as the capital of Anamestnichestvo, a part of the power of Sassanidaf. Adiabena is known in the Jewish tradition that her governors at the beginning had accepted Judaism. On 100 G in the city the bishop sat. Since 642 Erbil, together with all Mesopotamia, gets under the power of Arabs and begins to be Islamized. In 1144 Turkic Zinuddin Ali Küçük turns Erbil into the center of the independent emirate. This emirate reached blossoming at the Emir Muzaffar, Dina, 1190-1232. The son-in-law of the Egyptian Sultan Salah ad-Din.
In the Muslim world, Muzaffar is known that he entered celebrating the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad. The first such celebration was organized with big luxury in Erbil in 1207.
At Muzaffar it was built several buildings which remain still, including the second. After a citadel, a city site, a minaret of Muzaffariya, nowadays better known as the Cracked Minaret. A 33-meter tower which was once a part of a complex of madrasa. Muzaffar constructed also Caesaria's market, which also remained in the reconstructed look. When Mongols intruded to the Middle East in the 13th century, they attacked Erbil for the first time in 1237.
They plundered the lower city, but couldn't take a citadel and were forced to recede before the coming army of the Caliphate. Mongols returned after falling of Baghdad led by Hulagu in 1258 and could take a citadel after an annual siege.
Mongols owned them till 1410. That is 2 Timur's death. The Assyrian population had the majority in the city, before destruction of the city by Timur's forces in 1397. After Timur, the short-lived states of Karakoyunlu and Akkoyunlu and the Shah Ismail Safavid owned the city. From the last, the city in 1517 was taken away by Turks whose power remained exactly 400 years. In November 1918 Erbil was occupied by the British, who made by his capital a special governorship. Since 1921 as a part of Iraq. Today Kurds make the biggest ethnic group in the city, with smaller number of Arabs, Assyrians, the Turkmen, Armenians and Mandayans. On March 11, 1974 it is announced by the capital of the Kurdish autonomy in Iraq. For governing bodies of autonomy, the massive building in which the parliament of the Iraqi Kurdistan nowadays is placed was built. Since 1992, the capital of the regional government of Kurdistan. In 1996, May 2006, only the governments of an Erbil-Skudakukski part of the Kurdish region. In the downtown, the round 30-meter hill topped with the ancient fortification forming citadel. Hala. Actually, the old city of Kardam. 2 museums. The Museum of a Civilization. Archaeological, is devoted to pre-Islamic antiquities. An ethnographic. Salah ad-Din University. Enterprises. Weavers, tobacco, Drevubabatavishi, on marble processing, carpet brick. Nekovan Bozani's government carries out a number of ambitious projects on reconstruction and development of the city, including on construction of the airport city business center and elite quarter of Dream City. Actively the sport develops. The football club Erbil, on a Cup of Champions of AFI, reached the final. Erbil is the political capital of Kurdistan. It includes, in particular, Parliament of Kurdistan. In Erbil opened diplomatic missions such countries as the USA, Russia, Iran, Great Britain, France, South Korea, Germany, Ukraine and China. In November 2007 in the city the Office of Representative Office of the Union was opened. The population of the province Erbil -1,115,890. 2009. The majority in the city, Kurds, treat minorities Christian impudent persons, Nestorians who transferred to Ankara from Chicago, the residence of the Patriarch, and expect the end of construction of the temple in the center of Erbil, Armenians. Altogether Christians, Arabs and Turkmen. Residents of Erbil mainly Muslims. Christians live in the basic Ankara N, there are about 4,000 people, their temples in the same place in the suburbs. In Parliament of the Iraqi Kurdistan in Erbil for Christians and Turkmen about 5 places from 111 are reserved. The economic situation of Erbil in Iraq was low within decades. The reason for that there were operations and massacre of Kurds in the region, consequences of revolts after the war in the Persian Gulf and the subsequent civil war between the Kurdish groups.
All sharply I changed from the war in the Persian Gulf and arrival of forces of the coalition in 2003.
Terrorist-Chesky fight in the territory of Iraq aggravated a situation for investors more and stronger, but rather quiet Kurdistan became attractive to investments. More and more companies came to Erbil. It led to brisk economic activity in Erbil and also to significant increase in population. 2003. Card in 2010 more than on 1 million, 2014 card. Erbil became the constant economic platform of various exhibitions, fairs and forums. In the city projects begin to be implemented mega.
The airport was open on March 3, 2010. His construction was the strategy of Kurdistan on attracting investors and cost $550 million.
The international airport Erbil has one of the longest runways in the world, 4,800 m. 90 m. Since 2010 the airport serves regular flights to Europe, North Africa and to the Middle East. In 2014 the airport transported cargo passengers and 33527 tons of freights. The airport of Erbil became the hallmark of the city. Erbil is one of the largest projects in Erbil. Other downtown Erbil. The project was started in 2013, the size of square meters. Erbil is considered the new downtown. The project was started in 2013 and will cover the area of square meters. Project cost is $3 billion. This area will be used for apartments, hotels and shopping centers. The business card of this complex is skyscrapers of Twin Towers and Claren Towers. In Erbil many international educational institutions among which there are American, British and French schools and the universities opened.
The oldest university of the city and at the same time Kurdistan is the Salakadan University founded in Suleymaniye in 1968.
In 1981 I moved to Erbil. It is the most visited university of Kurdistan. Besides the Salakadin University in Erbil, there are other universities, including the University of Kurdistan founded in 2006 Havler and the Havlarsky Medical University. In September 2010 in Erbil the German schools and kindergartens opened. Educations. Salakadin University. GU. 1970. University which. KU. 2003. University of Kurdistan 2006. Havlarsky Medical University. HMU. 2006. University of Business and Management. VU. 2007. Sabis 2009 University. Xi'an's University. The Havlarsky Private University of Science and Technology. Ishik University. Me. 2008. Soren University 2009. 2011. French University 2009. On February 1, 2004, terrorist attack claimed the lives of 109 people. Responsibility undertook Ansar al-Sunnah. On May 4, 2005, terrorist attack claimed the lives of 60 civilians. In August 2014, opposition of Kurdistan and ISIL began. Terrorists tried to take Kurdistan and fights were going in. 40 came from the city. Peshmerga groups by means of airstrikes of the USA could cast away terrorists to Mosul. On November 19, 2014, the suicide bomber blew up himself in the downtown. 5 people died in attack. On April 17, 2015, the car filled with explosive exploded at consulate of the USA in Erbil. It was killed 3 and 5 people were wounded. Responsibility for terrorist attack was undertaken by IS. The city pays special attention to sport. The Erbilski Marathon is the international sports event and an action in defense of peace and tranquility in Iraq. The first Erbilski Marathon was carried out in October 2011, the second followed further in October 2012, with participation of athletes and fans from 49 different countries. Everyone, not only professional runners, but also fans of sport, family, members of the non-governmental and government organizations, youth clubs became participants of the Erbilski International Marathon of the World, which passed on October 25, 2013. The running is held on 4 km, 10 km and a full marathon minus 42.194 km. Alpine skiing sports. In spite of the fact that Iraq, rather warm place, in the mountains of Kurdistan, is under construction ski resort. At top of the Kurdish Mount Korak in 2014 there took place the first festival of skiing in which the Lebanese, Canadian and Romanian teams participated. AFI Erbil, the football club from the city of Erbil, is also known as Havlar. 4-time champion of Iraq in soccer, 4-time champion of Kurdistan in soccer, twice finalist of a Cup of AFI. Architecture and sites. The most known site in the city, the Citadel Erbil, entered in the list of Heritage of UNESCO in 2014. In this settlement there lived Assyrians, Akkadians, Babylonians and Greeks earlier. In the southern entrance to citadels there is Kaysaridi Market. This market was based in the 14th century when the city began to grow. Citadel of Erbil. Hey. The main attraction of the city. The citadel, the historical heart of the city, is located on the hill about 30 m high and occupies the space more than Kardam. Erbil was the important city during the New Assyrian period, and during the Persian dynasty Sassanidav and the Caliphate was the important center of Christianity.
After Mongols in 1258 took a citadel, the value of Erbil died away.
In 2007 all population of the citadel was moved out of her limits within the project on restoration of a monument. Since then their archaeological excavations are conducted, many sites are closed for visit by tourists. The only religious construction which remained in the citadel is Mullah Effendi's mosque. The citadel was divided into 3 quarters, where there lived rich and famous families, Taki where there lived dervishes, and the Topkhan where there lived handicraftsmen and peasants. In the citadel it is possible to visit Hammam of 1775, near the mosque, and the Museum of Textiles is to the south from a citadel in the downtown. Kaysari consists of numerous lanes. It reminds a labyrinth from narrow paths between shops, under a roof from corrugated metal more. The 36-meter minaret of Muzaffariya, the cracked minaret, is in the Minaret Park in several quarters from the citadel and belongs to the 12th century, was constructed in 1190, 1232 AD. 586, 630 GX. The Kurdish Prince of Erbil, in Saladin's reign. The Park Sami Abdurrahman, a green zone in Erbil. It is the park the size in several hectares, contains the lake, a rosary, monuments and also there are restaurants and the markets. Fransa Hariri Stadium. The multipurpose stadium in Erbil is used generally for football matches now and also for track and field athletics. This stadium accommodates in itself 4,000 people. At stadium often there take place soccer matches of the national team of Iraq and also he accepted a cup final AFI and the final of the World Cup among unrecognized republics. Verokhalikaga lies in foundation of the Museum of the Civilization, in one came from a citadel. The museum is devoted to textiles made in the Iraqi Kurdistan. He was created in 2004 and the citadel Erbil is located in the restored mansion in the southeast of quarter. Erbil Observatory, the astronomical observatory founded in 1973 at Mount Korik Top at the height of 2127 m. Because of war it wasn't completed. The observatory is deserted at present. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.